Hello, my name is Shanna McLean, and I'm here to talk with you about a small but impactful change to public policy. So, changes to public policy generally arise from a personal experience where an individual was negatively impacted and saw an opportunity to make a change for the better. I myself am no different. My desire for this change to policy comes from being the victim of false personation for 3 consecutive years at the hands of an individual who failed multiple times out of drug court. Now, it'd be a lot of fun for me to fill this time with countless stories of all the incidences that I faced over this period of 3 years, but that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to gossip. I'm here to take my experience as a victim of this crime and use it as an opportunity to create a change that I believe will help others and prevent them from suffering a similar fate. So let's begin by discussing drug court for those who may not be familiar with this program. Drug courts are specialized court docket programs within the judicial system that deal with nonviolent criminal cases involving illicit substance users. This system was put in place to rehabilitate and reform offenders with addiction problems. The court system has a 5 step approach: offender screening and risk assessment, judicial action and interaction, supervision, monitoring, and drug testing, graduated incentive or sanctions, and the availability of treatment and rehab services. Drug courts pros include a reduction in crime rates as many addicts get trapped into the crime world by their addiction, so helping at the beginning can stop them before the problem starts. The cost of drug court is less than what incarceration costs, and it is proven to work. But what happens when a person fails drug court? This failure results in immediate sentencing to prison. That is, if the individual can be found. This is where false personation becomes an issue. So, false personation is charged when an individual doesn't have identification on them when they are questioned by law enforcement and the individual provides a false name to the officer. The definition goes further with that after this individual has been informed of the consequences, they continue to misrepresent their actual name, date of birth, or address with the intent to prevent law enforcement from ascertaining such information. So, in simple terms, they provide the information of a different person to prevent the officer from obtaining their true identity. The next question is, when the false information is provided, what does law enforcement do with it? Well, let's first remember that we are all innocent until proven guilty. And if you were the person who got pulled over on your way to work and truly just forgot your driver's license, you would not want the police officer to think that you were falsely impersonating another individual. So, going from that stance, what the police officer does is they take the information that is provided to them, and in New York State, they put this information into what is known as the Spectrum Justice System Software, or SJS. It's an integrated law enforcement records management system that consists of 3 modules: incident, arrest, and warrant. So the system provides information about incident records like suspects and locations. It provides arrest information such as name, address, physical characteristics, and also any open warrants or court information. Information that is not provided, however, are known aliases from the entire state, not just the jurisdiction that the police officer works in, and any type of photo identification. Now, an example I'm going to use is that an individual has failed out of drug court and knows the consequences of this. They know that they are going to jail and there isn't a warrant out for their arrest. This warrant and court information will show up in the SJS system, but only if they use their true name. If they use an individual's name who is a law abiding citizen, the officer may never know the difference. And oftentimes, this false information that has provided is that of an individual the offender knows personally, whom they know does not have any outstanding warrants or a criminal background. They tend to use the same false information repeatedly because it worked once, worked twice, 3 times. So let's just keep going. So now what happens to the victim of this false personation? Well, speaking from personal experience, one day you get a letter in the mail stating that you failed to appear in court for a traffic ticket and that your New York State driver's license is now suspended. Now you get to try to clear your name and prove that you are not the person who actually received this ticket. This takes countless hours of talking to multiple police departments, obtaining police reports, talking with state police due to charges being filed in a different county than where you currently reside, and money being spent on legal counsel to defend you in court to try and clear your name. It's a nightmare. There needs to be a better way to protect people from false personation and this type of identity theft. My proposal to the policy change is that upon failing out of drug court, an additional penalty to this failure is that automatically the most recent photo of the individual is attached to their public record. This picture could be a driver's license photo or a current mugshot, but when law enforcement runs a person's name and date of birth, this picture appears. Also attached to their public record will be all known aliases from every city, every jurisdiction, and even every state. What this means is that, say, for example, that I have failed out of drug court. And then I get into trouble up in Rochester, where I provided a false name to prevent going to jail for my open warrants from failing out of drug court. Now, let's say I gave the false name of Sally Smith to the police officer, and later on it was proven that I falsely impersonated this individual. This name of Sally Smith would always be attached to my name and vice versa. So from that point on, when the name Sally Smith is input into the SJS system, my name and picture would appear as an alias for false personation. The police officer would see this photo and be able to compare it to the person claiming to be Sally Smith and be able to prevent Sally from being a victim of false personation again. So in the end, one small change to the punishments of failing out of drug court could prevent this from happening to others. So thank you for your time and your consideration. Good day.